If you're thinking about relocating to the Raleigh area and buying a home, hold up. It's not all sweet tea and Southern charm. From surprise fees that could cost you thousands to navigating neighborhoods without sidewalks. Yep, even the fancy ones. Today, I'm revealing 10 unexpected things that surprised me and many of our clients when we first moved here. Trust me, number 5 had me calling a lawyer to see if it was even real. Stick around so you can avoid these surprises and buy your Carolina dream home with confidence. Starting off with number 1, North Carolina is still pretty rural. Okay, first thing, the state, it's absolutely gorgeous, but it's also very rural in a lot of places. Even around cities like Raleigh or Charlotte, you'll see farmland right up to new neighborhoods. I know you might think it's all busy city life, but nope. Cows, barns, wide open fields, that's still part of our everyday landscape. And honestly, it's one of the things people fall in love with. The charm, the quiet, and the chance to sneak away for a relaxing weekend in a small town. Many of my clients are initially surprised, then delighted by how quickly they can go from downtown dining to peaceful countryside. It's not all hustle and bustle here, and that's a good thing. Even close to our beach house in Emerald Isle, it always amazes me as I'm driving through small rural towns with endless miles of forest. Yet I'm only 15 to 30 minutes away from the ocean waters. I always tell my hubby, we definitely didn't see this much open space near our California beaches. One additional thing that I'd like to mention is that many clients are surprised by how dark it gets here at night. Unlike other places that are highly lit up, like the 4th of July, here you'll find that in many of the towns and suburbs, it can be quite dark out. We have so many forest trees here, it's not just wide open where you can see for miles. So that definitely surprises many and takes a bit getting used to driving at night in the more rural towns. Moving on to number 2, don't expect sidewalks everywhere. This one may seem a bit odd, but if you're anything like us, we moved here from out of state from California, and all our neighborhoods had sidewalks on both sides of the street, and the street in between the homes were wide enough to park on either side and still allow cars to drive through. However, when we came to North Carolina and started exploring the different suburbs and communities, it became much clearer that we could not just assume that every neighborhood, especially the expensive ones, come with sidewalks. Even in million-dollar communities, sometimes it's just the road and then the grass. It's totally normal here. And in many newer build communities, many of the roads are much more narrow to the point that you can't park your car in the street. So if you're envisioning walking the dog or pushing a stroller, make sure to take a look to see if the neighborhoods of the homes that you're interested in actually have sidewalks. Some will have sidewalks on both sides, while others will be on one side, and then others will have no sidewalks at all. This is especially important if you're moving from a more urban area where sidewalks are a standard like we did. In the Raleigh Triangle area, newer master plan communities tend to have them, but many established neighborhoods don't. It's just something to be aware when house hunting. Number 3, basements are pretty rare in most areas. For those of you who are relocating from areas up north or the Midwest states, where many homes have basements, you may be surprised to learn that they're actually really uncommon here. And that's due to factors like our soil conditions, shallow frost lines, and the high cost of basement construction. Our clay soil in the state makes excavation and drainage challenging to say the least. So here you'll typically find homes with either slab, crawl space, or if it does have a basement, it'll be a walkout basement. And interesting fact, in Raleigh, only about 7% of homes even have a basement. But don't worry, most homes have a loft or a bonus room or even finished attics that give you that extra space. It'll just be upstairs versus downstairs. If a basement is a must for you, you may want to consider looking towards the mountains, places like Asheville or Boone. Or in Raleigh, focus on neighborhoods built on hills where walkout basements are more feasible. Just know they're gonna be harder to find and often come with a premium price. Number 4, property taxes are surprisingly low. Okay, You're actually gonna like this one. Compared to states like New York or California, like where we're from, our property taxes are much more reasonable. On average, they're around 1% or even a bit less. So if you're looking, for example, at a home that's around $450,000, you're probably only gonna pay around $3,600 a year in taxes, maybe a little bit more if you're in places like Durham or Chapel Hill. It's such a relief for many people moving from higher tax states. I've had clients from New Jersey and Long Island who were paying over $16,000 a year in property taxes who nearly fell out of their chairs when I told them what they'd be paying here. Just don't forget to check the county tax rates when comparing homes, as they do vary slightly. Number 5, due diligence fees. This one always throws everyone off, including myself when I first moved here. Now this won't come into play unless you plan on buying a home here. In most states, buyers are used to giving an earnest money deposit to either an escrow company or an attorney, depending on the state you live in. And the state of North Carolina also has an earnest money deposit. However, North Carolina also has a due diligence fee, unlike any other state across the US. So, what the heck is a due diligence fee? I'll explain it like this. Say you find a home that you love and want to make an offer to purchase it. You say, Mr. and Miss Seller, I love your home and I want to buy it. Here's a check for X amount of money to remove your home from the market and give me time to conduct my due diligence and order inspections to ensure I still wish to purchase the home. Now, if for any reason I decide I do not want to buy the home, whether it's the result of the inspection and we're just not happy, or we went to bed and woke up and had a bad dream and decided we don't want this house after all. For any reason, we the buyers can walk away from the home purchase, no harm, no foul, and Mr. and Miss Seller, you get to keep the money we put in your hand, that due diligence fee. Now, due diligence is non-refundable. However, as long as you, the buyer, decide to continue with the purchase of the home, those monies that were put in the seller's hand will come back to you, the buyer, at the closing table and will go towards your closing cost for the home, which you'll see reflected on the closing disclosure from the attorney. Many potential buyers inquire about the due diligence fee, and while there's no set amount, it can range from a few hundred to several $1,000s, depending on the competitiveness of the market. And your realtor, hopefully that's me, can help advise and guide you based on the market at the time you're ready to place your offer. It's a bizarre concept, especially if you're not from North Carolina. Personally, I called a real estate attorney's office and had to ask if due diligence was really a thing here when I first heard about it and purchased a home. And unfortunately, it is. Just make sure no matter who you decide to hire to represent you, your real estate agent takes the time to fully explain due diligence to you and helps you strategize the best offer and protect your money. I always explain to my buyers, no matter if it's $500 or $5,000, it's a lot of money to potentially walk away from. Number 6, HOAs are common, but they're not really scary. Again, coming here from California, this was a new concept for us. We had owned numerous homes without HOAs. So when we came here and started house hunting, we were surprised at just how many communities have HOAs. You'll especially find this in the newer build communities. I know a lot of people have very strong feelings about them, but overall, many of the HOA associations are not overbearing. They're mainly there to keep the neighborhood looking nice, think mowing common areas, maintaining amenities, and making sure houses aren't falling apart or have broken down cars in the driveways. The fees are typically pretty low. You can find single family homes with HOA dues from $30 to $100 a month, while condos or townhomes could be more, since they often cover exterior maintenance, water, or even some utilities. We've seen prices from $120 to $240 a month, depending on the community and the amount of amenities. These prices can also go as high to $200 to $300 per month. But again, if you look at places like Florida or New York City, these HOA dues pale in comparison. Please make sure before making an offer, always ask to see the HOA covenants and restrictions so you know exactly what you're agreeing to. Most are reasonable, but it's important to understand what's allowed and what's not in your potential new community, especially if you plan on operating a business out of your home, want to park a company van in your driveway or an RV, boat, or even if you want to have a mini farm of chicken and goats in your backyard. Just because the backyard has space doesn't mean the HOA will be okay with it. Number 7, closings are handled by attorneys, not title companies. Now earlier, I lightly referenced this when talking about due diligence. Again, this one's just a difference in how there's another slight difference here. In North Carolina, instead of escrow and title companies, you'll work with real estate attorney to close on your home. They do the title work, the paperwork, everything. It usually ends up costing about the same or even a little bit less than going through a title company. You'll work directly with a paralegal or legal assistant instead of an escrow officer and title rep. The closing process is typically smooth and straightforward. You'll meet at the attorney's office to sign paperwork and they'll explain everything as you go. Number 8, don't count on getting a deal. I know everyone wants to get a steal on their dream home, but here's the truth. The Raleigh market and most of North Carolina is still very competitive. We're consistently ranked as one of the top states to move to, and inventory has improved, but it's still low. So, sellers usually don't have to drop their prices dramatically. Homes still sell quickly, often with multiple offers in highly sought after suburbs and neighborhoods. Now, if you're open to doing some work, I like to call it a mini facelift. Think painting, updating kitchen countertops, maybe replacing carpet or installing LVP flooring. You can easily find easy fixer-uppers that other buyers might not consider and pass on. These are typically my favorite types of properties to buy and make my own very easily. This is typically where you'll find the deals these days. It's also worth noting that what seems expensive to locals might feel like a bargain if you're coming from places like California, New York, or Florida. It's all relative. Just make sure to work with an experienced local expert agent who knows the market well and can help you understand fair pricing in different neighborhoods and suburbs. Number 9, screened-in porches are a southern must. Let me just start off by saying we have bugs here, y'all. Mosquitoes, gnats, flies. That's why screened-in porches are so popular in North Carolina. They let you enjoy the outdoors without those bug bites. Most people end up using theirs year-round, even in the heat of the summer, as it cools off enough in the evenings to sit outside with a cool, refreshing beverage and listen to the sounds of nature and those cicadas. I've had many clients tell me their screened-in porch quickly becomes their favorite room in the house. If a home doesn't have one, keep in mind you can usually add one later. The investment typically pays off in both enjoyment and resale value. You'll definitely love it, especially during our beautiful fall evenings when the temperature is just perfect. And if you end up buying a home without a screened-in porch, there are a few alternative ways to keep those bugs away. We don't have our porch screened in, and we use a pest service, Mosquito Joe, that puts a barrier around our yard so we can enjoy sitting outdoors without getting eaten alive. You can also consider natural alternatives by planting flowers like citronella grass, bee balm, lavender, lemon thyme, marigolds, basil, catnip, and peppermint in pots around your patio. These plants not only add beauty and fragrance, but are also a natural repellent for mosquitoes and other pests. And last but not least, number 10, there are tons of new construction options. When people come to visit and explore the Raleigh Triangle area, they are surprised by just how much new construction is happening. Builders are busy trying to keep up with the numbers of people moving in. If you're dreaming of a brand new home, you'll probably find more options in suburbs like Clayton, Fuquay-Varina, Knightdale, Wendell, Zebulon, or even Wake Forest. These communities are growing fast and many offer modern floor plans, energy efficient features, and builder incentives. Just be prepared to drive a little bit further out from downtown Raleigh. But for many of us who moved from other areas, a 30-minute drive up to a 45-minute drive is still very doable. And a fun fact, many of the surrounding suburbs in town from downtown Raleigh are going to be within a 30-minute drive window. So that opens up a lot of potential areas to choose from, depending on the lifestyle that you want to live. One thing to keep in mind when looking at new construction is that if it's a spec home, which means the builder is advertising and selling a home that's already been built, then the price advertised is typically the price you'll pay. But if you're choosing your lot, floor plan, and building from the ground up, remember that the base price advertised usually does not include upgrades, lot premiums, or closing costs. Some will still offer incentives if you use their preferred lender. However, others will only offer incentives on ready-to-move-in spec homes. Incentives are constantly changing and can vary each month or change the next day or week after you visit the community. And an important thing to keep in mind when buying new construction is to always, did I say always, get a new construction inspection, even on that brand new home. Trust me on this one. No home is perfect, even when it's being built. The builder will be able to address the items found during the inspection prior to your move-in. Also, please note that the state of North Carolina is a seller state, buyer beware, also known as a caveat emptor state. So please consider hiring a local real estate agent to represent you as a buyer, as the builder's sales agent represents the seller, which is the builder, and have the builder's best interest in mind. The builder typically pays the buyer agent commission as long as you or they have pre-registered you as a buyer before coming to visit or getting additional information on the community. It's also important to remember to have your agent accompany you to the first appointment with the communities you're interested in seeing. All right, y'all. Those were 10 surprising things to know before buying a home in North Carolina, especially around Raleigh. I hope these tips didn't scare you away, but instead helped you feel more prepared and confident about your move. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Drop in the comments below which item surprised you the most, or if you already live here, tell me what unexpected thing caught you off guard. Buying a home here in the Triangle is truly an amazing opportunity. With a strong job market, affordable living, breathable landscapes, and 4 beautiful seasons, it's easy to see why so many of us are calling this area home. I've been helping families relocate here for over 7 years, and let me tell you, handing over those keys never gets old. If you found this information helpful, please click that like button below to help others find this information as well. And if you're thinking about making North Carolina your home, I'd love to be a part of your journey. My contact information is right here on the screen. Give me a call, text, or email anytime. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist featuring community insights, home tours, and all things Raleigh. Be sure to subscribe because we're dropping fresh videos every single week. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, we'll see y'all later.